I'm Mindy with Prana Stream, and I'm coming at you today with a workout for your hips. So let's get going. We're going to start with a little opener. So draw the knees up, take a breath, and exhale back to the shoulders and roll up. Now just cross your legs loosely and gently press through the knees. And again, so switching feet each time. We're just going to start by encouraging those tight hips to open up. It's always a fine dance with hip strengthening exercises to find that balance of strength and not get too tight. So today I'm going to incorporate some stretches in between the workout that hopefully will leave you feeling really good and really open. All right, let's draw both knees up. Take a little rock back to your back and just place your hands on top of your knees. So knees right above the hips. And then go ahead and just gently press down into the femur bones. Draw your knees into your chest and then open them up to the side and push them away. So I'm just making oppositional circles with the knees. Just kind of stirring the pot. I'm just bringing some juice and fluid into the hip sockets. And we're going to reverse. So try not to guide with your leg muscles, but rather just let your hands be the guide. All right, and then just let your feet come to the floor, and we're going to do some bridge work. So releasing all the weight in your pelvis to the very bottom of your spine, and then go ahead and just press over the sacrum into the small of the back. Curl your tailbone off the floor and press through the heels. Release that back down to the very bottom of your spine, and this time we're going to go ahead and roll all the way up into a bridge. So go ahead and place your hands on your hips and just drop the right hip about 2 inches below the left. So you should feel like a diagonal pull across the front of your hips. Now just press through that right heel and push the hip back up. And then the left hip's going to drop. And press through the heel and push it back up. So you should feel the gluteal muscles begin to turn on as you press through that heel. And a lot of torque happening through the hips. It's really good to move your hips this way. We tend to get really kind of stuck in the pelvis as we get older. So encouraging this diagonal movement is really a good thing to do. Really healthy for your back, really good for your hips. All right, let's just roll it back down. Pull the knees into your chest and give yourself a little rock from side to side. Then we're going to bring the feet back to the floor. Take a breath and exhale, roll it up. So now, always you can just hold the bridge, plain vanilla, just like this. Take some breaths. But if you want to add on, we're going to lift the arms just above the chest, and I want you to draw the toes off the floor, and then drop the toes and lift the heels. And drop the heels and lift the toes, and drop the toes and lift the heels. And then let the arms float back behind you. And same thing, drop the heels, lift the toes, toes down, heels up. Really anchoring into your core, so navel to spine, hips pressing into each other. So I'm turning on everything, and then just let the heels come down, arms float down, and roll back down. Really good. So that's a lot of work, just holding that bridge. And then to add on top of it, you really have to be anchoring into the pelvic floor. So let's take one more bridge exercise. Go ahead and roll it up. Optionally, and really be your own judge of this, you can leave both feet on the floor and we're just going to pulse the hips up. Otherwise, you can bring your hands to your hips again and lift the right leg up. And same thing, we're just going to pulse the hips, 2, like you're poking a hole through the ceiling with your toes. 3, 4, and 5. Good. That foot comes down and we roll it back down. Hug the knees. Give yourself a little rock. Really good. That's so hard. Bring the feet back to the floor. Take a breath. Exhale. Roll it back up. So anchor navel to spine. Hands to the hips. Lift that left leg up. And here we go. 1, 2. Really pressing through that right leg. 3, 4, and 5. Great. Roll it on down. Pull the knees in. Take a little rock back to your shoulders and roll it up. All right, we're going to come down to our side now. So go ahead and just rest your head on your arm and bring your knees just like 90 degrees from the hips. So straight out from the hips. And then we're going to lift the toes off the floor and peel that right knee up. It's actually the left knee. Squeeze it back together. And then we're just going to glide that leg over the bottom leg and out on the diagonal and draw it back in. So create your own resistance in your mind. It's like you're pressing something away from that knee. And then really using the glutes in the back, stretch it out and draw it back in. And open. And close. And stretch. And in. Again, we open. And close. And reach. And in. Good. All right. So now we're going to come up on the arm. So elbow right underneath the shoulder. Put a little popsicle stick right between that rib cage and the floor. So we're not releasing, but really lift it up out of the floor. And then this hand can just be an extra support system for you. So we're going to stretch the top leg out and just give it a little kick to the front with a flexed foot and a point to the back. And a kick to the front and a point to the back. One more time, just this. Upper body's really still and quiet. And then we're going to circle the leg. 1, 2, 3, and back and around. It's deceivingly hard, especially when you come from the back. Up and around. One more. Up and around. Good. Now flex the foot down, so toes pointing towards the floor. And just lift that leg up. 2, 3, I know. 4, don't hate me. It's a hard one. Really fires up the glutes. Good job. All right, let's come, just go ahead and bring that knee over the bottom leg. So if you feel like this is a stretch right here, that's great. Just maybe lean into the knee. If you want to take it a little bit further, place your hands on the floor and just release your head down. And then we'll roll it back up. And we come to the other side. So stretching out on the floor. Your head's going to rest in your arm, knees 90 degrees from the hips. Lift your feet off the mat, and then peel that top knee open. So press into the back of the hip, and then squeeze those thighs back together. And stretch the leg back on the diagonal, and draw it back in. So we open and squeeze. And lengthen, and in, and open. Good, keep going. Stretch it back. Bring it in. Again. And down, and stretch, and in. Great. All right, let's come up on the elbow. Remember that popsicle stick between the ribs and the floor. Stretch the top leg down, and we just flex it to the front, point it to the back. Flex to the front, point to the back, and front, and back. Good, now circles. So up and back and around. Up and back and around. Keep lifting that rib cage off the floor. And reverse. So we reach back, up and around. So much work going on. Hang in there. So we don't want to do any one exercise too many times. We don't want to tighten the hips. We just want to keep firing different muscles and then stretching them out. All right, good. So let's come on up, draw that knee in, take a little stretch forward. It feels so good. Maybe release the hands to the floor and drop your head. And coming back up. All right, let's take it to all fours. We're getting towards the end, so hang in there. So really important to keep your weight centered between all four limbs. So try, as we're working one side, not to lean to the other side and balance your weight over the supporting arm. Right leg's gonna lift. And make sure you're not gonna lift that hip, but just really keep both hips pointed towards the floor. And then just bring the knee down and back up again. Open the leg and bend. So we lower and lift, bend, or straighten and bend. Again. And up. Stretch the leg. And in. And down. And up. So it's not a huge movement, but you got to keep those hips lined up. Now just poke up. Pulse it. And 5, 6, 7, 8, and we do some knee circles. So draw the knee in, open to the side, lift it up and back and around. Again, focusing on keeping that weight as centered as you can so you're really using those core muscles. 4 and 5. And we're going to reverse it. So you lift it up, open, and down. Up. So notice that my knee, once it's out there, I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to try to keep it at the same level it's at right here. So I really like to use my hip to open that knee to the side and down. Up and open and down. One more. Good. All right, let's come down to the opposite elbow. Fingers touching the opposite hand. We're going to stretch the back leg and lift it on the diagonal. And then you're just going to lower and lift and draw the knee into your shoulder and stretch. So we lower, up, and in, and out, and down, and up, and in. And I'm really pressing out of my shoulder girdles. So I'm trying to work the upper body as well. And last one, make it your best. Touch and lift and in and out. Them little pulses up on the diagonal. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Really good. That's so hard. Sit back on the heels and just stretch through your arms. Give yourself a little rock. Hang in there. We're almost to the end. We're going to do the other side. So we start on all fours. And just check out your body, your spine, and make sure that you're not sagging or too lifted, but really just in your neutral spine. And then we lift one knee up. So try not to lift the hips. You should feel a little work going on in your inner thigh as well. Lower and lift and out and in and lower and up and out and in again and out and in and lower and lift and out and in again and out and in. Now little pulses up, just poking a hole up at the ceiling Good. And circles. So you draw the knee in, open, and back and around. Knee circles are really good. They bring a lot of fluid into the hip joint. They're also a ton of core work. You really have to work to stabilize your body. 2 more. And 1. Good. Now we reverse it. So lift it up, hold that knee open, and in. Up, open, and in. Remember to keep your weight really centered. 4 and 5. Good, we'll come down to the elbow, fingers to fingers. So really stretching out of this left shoulder girdle and the right. We reach that leg on the diagonal, and we lower and lift, draw it into the shoulder, and stretch it back out. So down, up, and in, and out. Lower, lift, in, and out. Lower, up, in. Stay strong. You got this. We're almost there. And in, and out. Last one. And in. Little pulses up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You did it. Good. Sit back on the heels. Reach your fingers forward. Take a few breaths. Ah, it feels so good. And then we're just going to roll it up. Go ahead and turn your toes under. Walk your feet in a little bit. And just hang over the legs, soften the knees, and we're going to end with just a little bit of standing work. All right, so just put your hands on your hips. Walk your feet out. And just keeping the knees really bent, just shift the weight from side to side. So I'm just pressing off my toes, and I'm really stabilizing through my side body, through my hips, and the sides of my legs. And just catching my breath. And then we're going to turn it to the right, and we're going to just press into the front leg, and then as you drop into the back leg, bend the knee, tuck the hips a little bit, and just press through the back heel. So I'm just going to reach forward, and then I'm going to press through the back heel. Even though the heel's lifted, I'm really focused there. The front knee always stays bent. And reach, and drop. 1 more. Reach, and drop. Now we're just going to pulse it. 1, tuck the hips, press through the back heel. 4 and 5. Really good. We go back side to side. Almost done. You guys are so strong. You'll thank me later. And then stay over the front knee. Drop into the back heel. Tuck those hips and press it forward. And back. And forward. And back. Good. The front knee always stays bent. And now we're just going to pulse. 1. Press in the palms of the hands together. Tuck those hips. Press through the back heel. Good. And bring your feet together. You guys did so good today. I will see you next time. And have a great week. Bye-bye.